Welcome to my world. Where am I? Right now, live. It is exactly 1:06 a.m. Sunday morning. 1:06 a.m. and here I am in the studios of WABC Radio, the 50,000 watt flamethrower. That was a term of art, by the way, that was used and still is applicable to many, many people. Live in New York City. And as we speak, as I speak to you, the city is still going bananas as we speak. People all be, I love this idea. It's like, well, you know, it's early. No, it's not early. It's the city is alive. There are people who don't, as you know, go to sleep necessarily right now, or at least in this city in particular, there's always something going on. So, one of the things which I found of interest today is the subject matter for today's show. I'm doing a 2 to 5 show. I get a little early because I was thinking about this. Because the most difficult thing for me to do, whenever I do these things, is to try to narrow down what it is I'm going to be talking about. First and foremost, let me explain something to you, which is, I think, critical. And I hope you grasp this. I'm sure you will, but well, let me say this nonetheless. We are a unique group, okay? As you know, the you and I that represent what we talk about, I don't know if people are necessarily going to be digging this on conventional radio. And I say that with all due respect. So I can't talk to them the way I talk to you. Let me give you an example of something. Let me give you an example. I love to hear people give me something, a new perspective, and I don't care who they are. And I may not necessarily agree with them, you know, during something, but they'll make me think about something differently. By the way, I hope everybody's here. Give me a 5 by 5 just to let me know. There is a young lady. I say young lady, but she is. I think her age perhaps, and her gender. There we go. There is Louis. Thank you, my friend. Her age and her demeanor, I think, kind of belie her efficacy. But it's a series of interviews with someone by the name of Whitney Webb. Have you ever heard of Whitney Webb? Whitney Webb, I think, is one of the most interesting people I have ever heard, and I'll tell you why. Because she has been able to give me a way of saying, look at this. Look at it this way. Here's an angle I want you to look at. To wit, Epstein. Now, everybody has always talked about Epstein from the point of view of the sexual connection of it. You know, the blackmail, the extortion. That's been the way they've done it. It's always been that. And what Whitney Webb has said is, no, that's almost like a limited hangout. And the limited hangout is this thing which is the most important issue. And as I speak, I'm always trying to say, okay, I know what it is, you know what it is, but it's one of the greatest concepts ever. It's the deception. It's it's kind of like a lost leader or you know, a stalking horse or something. It's something that is put out. It's something that is put out so that you can hear this and you'll say, oh, that's what this is about. Oh, Epstein is about sex and extortion and where are the files. And the issues, more important, is not that Epstein was this pervert kind of a nothing, but that Epstein was responsible in banking and intrigue and the like, dealing with banking and financial shenanigans. It's excellent. And that's the part which really is the most important, not some grainy photo of, theoretically, Bill Gates involved in some sexual activity 20 years ago. And I want to say hats off to her, because this is an angle I've not heard of. You've not, nobody's heard of this angle. Nobody. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. And I want to tell you this. So in this pantheon, today I'm going to provide this thing. There are, maybe you can help me with this, because I'm always trying to explain to the AM radio audience, because you see, they can say things you can't. Let me give you an example of this. I have to sanitize everything. I was on the other day with Sean Atwood. And Sean Atwood is a great show. And he has a code word for this. If he talks about pedophiles, he has to say PDF files. If he talks about this, he has to... I mean, it's the most ridiculous thing in the world. We're talking about... It's like using the word F-bomb. It's the most ridiculous thing, because I know what the F-bomb means. I know what it means. I know what it conveys. I know what it connotes. I know what... Why are we... It's like when somebody says F-CK. I know what that means. Why are you doing that? Because we're sanitizing it. But I know what it means. I know what it means, another concept. And just because you've left a U out of the word doesn't make it any better. This is the insanity of it. So while you may talk about more things, on AM radio, you do not have algorithms. You don't have some machine processed review that limits what you're saying. And it's, by the way, it's a lot better since Trump. It's a lot better since there have been, changes. Really and truly and actually, seriously, it's the most incredible thing in the world. So, during the course of this, I was trying to think of three, maybe you could think of them, three very basic transitional periods of talk. First of all, there was talk radio, but also let me just give you the three and then you can help me out. Fox News, Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones. Three benchmarks, three transitions. Let's talk about Fox News. Fox News was so revolutionary. Fox News absolutely blew everybody away because nobody knew you can do it. And why? What was the big deal? I have no idea what was so great about Fox News. It was the truth. It made sense, but it was absolutely, positively mind-blowing in terms of the information that was there. They never heard of it before. They talk about, Sean Hannity was so incredible, and he's so great. Sean Hannity never said anything in the least that was, I think, out of the ordinary. And I've got a lot of respect for him, and I've known him for a long time. But what was so great? It was so shocking. Shocking. Fox News. Fox News is interesting. When did Fox News come about? Fox News, a history. By the way, ChatGPT is my, I say this in a weird way, my intellectual mistress, if that makes any sense. It is my constant companion whenever I'm trying to figure something out. The history of Fox News TV. And I put that in there, and it will all of a sudden come up with something regarding this. It was founding in 1996. 1996. It just took over everything. And now I submit to you that it is probably some of the most benign, anodyne, harmless. It's nothing. There is nothing that is like, what? Shocking. What? Nothing. Next, that's one group. The middle ground is Tucker Carlson. Lapsed, Trotskyites, kind of like the neocons, without saying neocons, of, you know, not exactly that crazy, but he's talking to more people. You're seeing this more and more people, and we're talking about regular. I'm not even throwing in the digital. We'll get to that in a moment. But Tucker's kind of like middle of the road. Where you put Rogan into this, I don't know. But just work with me on this. That's like saying Spanish food, Spain, Mexico, and Spain, Mexico, and South America, the three types of Spanish food. Doesn't even come close to explaining it. Okay, rip it. Thank you, Gracie. The third, for me, which was the most important ever, was Alex Jones. The history of Alex Jones on or in media. Send. This is my ChatGPT. Boom. ChatGPT, Grok is great, but 4.0 is better for this. 1990s, early 1990s, public access. He talked about William Cooper. See, there are people that are talking about the pale horse. There are people I can mention about that. There were militia-based conspiracies. There was this group of people like us who came about, and Alex Jones was the lightning rod. He was the Father Coughlin. He was the guy who came along and just blew it apart in ways that nobody ever really realized. Nobody ever. I never heard anything like Alex Jones. Never. Never heard anybody even suggest it. Never heard anybody even talk about it. Never heard anybody even come up with subjects like he did. I never knew about this. Globalist. I never heard the word globalist. Never. FEMA camps, Bilderberg, false flags. Oh my God, it was like, this was, so those are our three things. So Alex Jones is at one era, Fox News is another, and again, forget CBS and those kind of things. And then in the middle, kind of like there's this Tucker, kind of Joe Rogan sort of thing. You know what I mean? And this is the most important. I'm just amazed by what I'm seeing right now. Amazed by what I'm seeing right now. You never watched Barney Miller. I don't know what that means. Loved Barney Miller. I think Barney Miller was the most important you just gave me something which is very interesting. You just brought something up right now, which I want to, and thank you for inspiring me. I watch Barney Miller all the time. I talked about it a million times. Talk radio allows somebody on the phone to have this dialogue. Somebody picks up the phone, let me talk to you. By the way, one of the things about Barney Miller, and one of the things, what I love about this is you talk about me being desultory. Somebody will say something, and you're off and running to talk about the bass line or the music or whatever it is. Stand by. When you're talking to somebody on the phone, you can say, I don't know what you're talking about. When you have live this, and by the way, I am the only, I think I am verified. Tell me who else does it. Who does a live broadcast and stops and acknowledges you when they call in? Who? 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 The New World Order episode was fantastic. See, that was somebody so ahead of the game. You're right about that. But the problem with you writing this in is people cannot write a lot. Who stops what they're doing and speaks to people as it is coming in versus ignoring you altogether? Who? Nobody. I mean, people don't do this. I see this all the time. Never. And I love this one too. Host-dependent shows. Katie Halper, very good, irrespective of again, I always say irrespective, her views, of course, on Israel, forget it. You're not going to hear this. Oh, there's John Gentile. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Johnny. Johnny's a brand new member. Katie, Judge Napolitano, they don't talk, but they'll have a guest on. And but don't look at people's looks. I know sometimes people have this look. I listen. I do it too. We have to get away from it. Sometimes people's looks, they're around like that, and that's all I focus on. And I got to get away from it because I do it too. I don't care what the hell. Believe me. I don't care what you say about me. I've never cared. Never. I mean, I read your comments, but one of the Lionel read one of my super chats once. Well, thank you so much. See, there you go. People will say things sometimes just for the sake of it. You'll get trolls and you'll get this, but talk radio doesn't have that. But the reason why this is the biggest problem is that many people just can't write. Speaking and communication mean nothing to you. It's just like going, ah! That's what it is. I'll bet you, and be honest, how many of you wonderful people have never written something and said, I don't know what this means. Just send it, send it, send it. React. Don't let it go by. Say something. Just say something. It doesn't matter what it is, say something. Irrespective of whether it makes sense, say something. LOL. LOL what? I don't know. You're reacting. Do I understand what you're reacting to? No, it's about me. It's not about me being participatory. And by the way, this isn't meant as some kind of a slam. It's just the truth. Okay, so talk radio does this. We don't do call-ins. We don't do call-ins. Talk radio does call-ins sometimes. And there are other people who never take calls. Never take calls. Never. They never take calls. They don't care about taking calls. I don't know why. Rush Limbaugh never was a big call taker. Everybody's got to find their thing. To me, the calls are the gems. There's this thing where, oh my God, I've never seen anything like this. Okay, so going back to what I said, you've got these three groups. The best of 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 what we do, the best, is our subject matter here, you and me. This stuff is the best. This stuff is the best. The subject matter. In my world, in my happiness, I love the subject matter that never even, if you see it in the newspaper, and by the way, look at this. Walked into this, you're going to believe it. I'm looking at this. This is the New York Post. I have never physically seen a newspaper. The first time I think was in my local shoe repair where I got my shoes shined. I don't know when. Never see a paper. I've never. I appreciate it, but I live in a different world. My focus is on new things. I was listening to David Mamet. I want to give you this right now. I want you to listen to this. I always learn from people. David Mamet, the great screenwriter or playwright, David Mamet wrote this wonderful, I mean wonderful, 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 wonderful stuff, which is just fantastic. And I wanted to, it's called David Mamet, and the story was Arroyo Grande with Raymond Arroyo. It's an hour and 15 minutes. Absolutely fantastic. Then there was another one too. Shadow Government, Rick Spence. Rick Spence on Mossad, Epstein, MKUltra, cults, secret societies. Love this. Love it. That's my... So when I'm on radio conventional, I got to blend this. I said, okay, I'm not going to do the Fox News. I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't go full Alex Jones. I can't because people will. I don't know what they first of all, they won't know what I'm talking about because I'll be speaking in a language they don't know. But somewhere in the middle of this, kind of like Tucker meets whatever. Maybe it's sort of that. I don't know what it is, but I am convinced that people want to hear new things. What was this subject that really flipped you out the first time you heard it, where you said, "Oh my God"? What was the subject? What was it? What was this? Where you thought to yourself, I never heard of this before. I never thought of this. I never thought of this. By the way, I'm watching right now a picture. There's an article, or excuse me, a commercial, an article, of people playing golf. And just now I looked up at there's all these monitors. I'm thinking to myself, golf? Justin said Waco, NAMBLA. NAMBLA, by the way, I think that is a mystery. You know what? That's a very interesting story. Let's go to our friend, ChatGPT. Is NAMBLA real? Now, by the way, whatever you have something, a word that's weird, always spell it out for ChatGPT. The North American Man-Boy Love Association, founded in the 70s, it's been universally condemned. It's real and it's repugnant, but it has no mainstream legitimacy. It was founded in the 70s. It advocated the abolition of age of consent. I don't know where it is, but that's very interesting. MS-13. No, NAMBLA is not a... NAMBLA is not, it doesn't exist anywhere except in the world of talk radio. NAMBLA does not exist anywhere except in the world of talk radio. Do you understand what I'm saying? NAMBLA does not exist except in the world of this. It doesn't exist. I get my news through YouTubers and expos. That's interesting too. Where do you get your news? And these are the questions which I find fascinating. There is a word, let me see if I can explain this, called Socratic movement. Have you ever heard this one? I'm going to use my ChatGPT. Saccades. I learned this in college, psych. It was called Socratic movement. You know what a saccade is? It's how your eye moves. When you look like this, you don't get a blur. You know when you pan a picture and you go like that, and it's a blur? This is different. When you look, it's a smooth transition. Why is it? A saccadic movement is a saccade. It's a movement like this. And saccade are quick, jerky, involuntary eye movements that shift the focus of your gaze from one point to another. They're essential for scanning the environment and visual tracking. Your eyes don't move smoothly while scanning. Instead, they jump rapidly from one focal point to another. These jumps are called saccades. Between saccades, your eyes briefly pause. It's called fixation, when your brain processes what you're seeing. Saccadic dysfunction can be linked to neurological conditions. The point is, you see boop, 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 boop. And then you get the collective panorama. I get my news from as much as possible. I love X because I like the focus of this. I always scan info to see what it's looking at. I look at Lou Rockwell. I look at global research. I get that. I will go sometimes into Breitbart and Fox just to see what's the bumper sticker news. What's the bumper sticker news? What is the I don't want to say low-hanging fruit, but what is the simplest to understand? Like, what are people saying? Tariffs. Trump proposes a $163 billion cut. NPR, you know, that kind of thing. That Fox News stuff. Nothing wrong with that. You have to ask yourself, do you really want to go, if you want a Mexican restaurant, do you want Taco Bell? Do you want something more, whatever? Or do you really want legit, honest to God Mexican food? The answer is you probably don't want real Mexican food. You want, so you got to figure out what kind of news do you want. Many people say, I read the paper. I read the New York Times. I read CNN. I've never read the New York Times. I cannot tell you the last time New York Times did anywhere. I'll look sort of maybe to see like kind of what are they saying, but I'm not interested in it. It's not that it's a lie. It's the fact that it's like finding a radio station. It's oldies versus AOR, adult oriented rock, versus CHR versus urban. It's like a radio station. That's all. That's all. Very, very simple. Our friend says, Loco says, do you go with the principles of spiritual wisdom and universal and natural laws rather than supposed facts? That's an excellent question, and thank you. By the way, and I'm writing this down, Supernatural Art Bell. Let me explain something to you. You talk about maybe natural law may apply. I don't really know. And thank you, by the way, for your kindness. And to all of you wonderful people who give of your hard-earned money. Swear to God, thank you for this. It's a bullshit New Age question. See, that's okay. We need, by the way, AF, we need to thank you for that because we need somebody to dismiss it. If everybody in the world says something, if everybody in the world has been saying something since day one, do you think there's something to it? Do you think there's something to it? I say yes, absolutely. Sometimes people are not able to articulate it. Sometimes people speak in terms where we will use old-fashioned type of bumper sticker terms where we really don't mean anything. We don't really know what it means, but you talk about spiritual, natural laws. I don't know who's natural, but I do know there is something that is most important. Let me ask you a question. If there were no laws, if they said for 24 hours, there are no laws, none. You can go out and do anything. White-collar crime is going to be difficult because it takes years to discover it. Would you go out and commit crimes? No. But you would see people running into the street like you can't believe. Just like a yeast infection. Just like sometimes when a woman takes an antibiotic and the lactobacillus is killed off and you have Monilia and Candida, and that's kind of what this is. My natural law says that there are, number one, there are things that we all agree with. Malum prohibitum, malum in se. Wrongs that are wrong because we say they're wrong, and wrongs that are wrong because we know they're wrong. That's that. Number two, and this is important, the spiritual part is something that is subject to your interpretation. I've never, ever felt or connected with in any way the notion of spiritual. I don't know what that means. I kind of do. But it is a language that I hear. Religion and spiritual, I hear people speak just like I do somebody speaking French, and I don't understand French. I hear what they're saying, and I don't know kind of what it is. You understand this? Let me see if I can explain this. I don't know what it means. I don't know what you mean by that. There are people who believe in channeling and crystals and astrology or whatever, and I'm not trying to dismiss it. It's just not for me. Maybe I don't understand it. But I do believe there's a legitimacy to it by virtue of the fact that so many people rather believe in it. If that makes any sense to you at all, my friend. If that makes any sense to you at all. Okay? I don't know. Spiritual, New Age is not bullshit. Haunted house. One of my subjects tonight. Do you believe? Look at this. Somebody writes, I like this late night live versus the too early mountain time I used to be. Oh, that's good. Well, I appreciate that. See, it depends. There's the only thing that makes this important, I think, is the fact that it's live. Nancy Reagan, enough said. What does that mean? Do you think there's nothing to astrology? You know what I say? I don't understand astrology. I don't understand astrology. Is astrology bullshit? No. No. Do you think people from the beginning of time have been, do you think they're just all crazy? No, not at all. I don't understand it. I love people who say, oh, that's crap, that's bullshit, it's nonsense, whatever it is. I don't believe that at all. Absolutely not. I don't know enough about it. So anyway, and the beautiful, by the way, what I love about this is your question can send me off into a completely different thing, which drives some people nuts because they might be listening to it later and they can't read your comments. So if somebody's just driving in their car and they're listening to me speak, they're saying, why is he talking about astrology and Nancy Reagan? It's like he's talking to somebody. I am talking to somebody, the people whose comments are popping up on my screen. That can be extremely harrowing and problematic for somebody listening as radio, but this is not radio. This is completely different. And if we had the ability for people to talk and to interplay as it's happening, I think it would be a better point. There's something wonderful about you knowing that something is live, is happening right now, is real. It's not just, I love the fact that I am immersed in information. I love the fact that I am totally immersed in information. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to wrap this thing up. I've been on for about 31 minutes, which is fine. I'm on WABC. Are you following this? 7:70 a.m. And I'm going to reference you when I talk to these people. I'm going to say I'm going to bring them into us and bring you into. See, I keep telling people, the radio people think they're the only ones in the world. You think that you're the only one in the world. It's like NASCAR people think everybody listens to NASCAR. Radio thing. And by the way, there are people who say the only radio in the world is WABC. That's it. Nothing else exists. Nothing. If you're not on ABC, you don't exist. So you have all of these people that I want to bring together and have them say, I never heard of this. I don't know about you, but in the 70s, when FM kind of branched out, and we got into AOR and long-form music, long-form album-oriented rock, where we had a great station and when I was a young man, a kid, high school, WQSR, SRZ, and 102.5. It was most incredible. Then there was community radio. I love that. You could hear Brian Auger 1 minute and then, Bix Beiderbecke and then, whatever. It was incredible. So that's what I want to bring. I'm going to bring all these people together and have them say, I never knew anything about this. We have BGO here in New York. BGO, I think out of Newark, is one of the best jazz stations around. And you know what also is great? Local college radio stations. In any event, dear friends, thank you so much for this. And to our friend, who is it? To Loco Valdez, thank you so much for your kindness this morning. I want everybody to be careful. I'm going to be going on the air at 2 a.m. in about 20 minutes. Join me on 77 WABC, 770 or WABCradio.com. There's different ways to listen to it. And when you do, make sure you tell the board op, Mr. Lee, who is fantastic. We used to work. Look at this. I've been a fan since the Lynn Samuels days. Oh! I started this in 1988. The first time I ever did anything in radio. And it was right at the time of It was so wonderful. Again, enough of the nostalgia. 77 WABC. The more people who come on, they love this. They say, wow, look at all these people. I'm saying, yes, I've got people who follow me. Scores of people. Millions of people. Do you know how many people watch me during the week? Millions. I'm serious. Views and everything. And I'm just like, well, I'm nothing special compared to other people. It's the numbers are incredible, but there's a wonderful balance. All right, dear friends, thank you so much. 77. I think it's called. Let me make a note of this. Make note of this. It is. If you go to my X at Lionel Media, Lionel Media. Lionel Media. It is WABCradio.com. WABCradio.com. Go there and you can listen online. There's an app you can have and you can listen. And I thank you. All right, dear friends, have a great and a glorious and a beautiful day. Be very, very safe. I'm going to commence. And the witchy, look at this, downloaded the app. There you go, Lori. There you go. And thank you so much. All right, dear friends, let me move this over here. I don't mean to my finger there. Oops, this is terrible. Let me see if I can turn this off the hard way. Anyway, have a great day. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Da-da. There we go.